Hi BookTube and welcome back to my channel. I'm Sharon and this is A Time for Reading. So today what I wanted to do was actually go over my Bookcon haul. I actually got to go to Bookcon for the very first time this year and it was such an incredible event, especially considering I'd never been there before. I didn't really have a lot of expectations. I mean, so many of these books I've never heard of before. Some I definitely have and some I've had my eye on for a long time, but a lot of these books were completely unknown. Oh, and if you're in New York and you haven't done it yet, Drunk Shakespeare. That's all I'm gonna say. Look it up. It's fascinating. It is so fun. I've mentioned before, I am a Shakespeare freak. I love anything involving Shakespeare. We went to, I thought I wasn't gonna say anything more, but here we go anyway. We went to see Drunk Shakespeare and it was freaking epic. Such a fun show. So interesting. They made Shakespeare so accessible to everyone in the audience. It was just an incredible experience, so interactive. Things happened that we did not expect during that show. But it was a really good time. Anyone that's in New York should take the time to go see it. They always have cheap tickets from what I understand, either on Groupon or Gold Star, which is where I got mine. I got mine off Gold Star. I can't recommend it enough. As you can see, we definitely have a different background today than normal. I actually have my art desk right here. So I have all the books stacked because there's just so many. I just figured if I was sitting in front of my bookshelf, I just wouldn't have the space next to me to stack everything and it would just be too much. Without further ado, let's get to all the books. There are so many, you guys. I'm so excited. First off, I wanted to go into the arcs that I received. So I did get a total of 5 arcs while I was at Bookcon. First off, we have 2 arcs that I received from Source Books. I got both of these at the exact same time. This one, I was definitely just more aesthetically attracted to. And the other book is Kingdom of Exiles by Maxim and Martineau. Is what I wanted to talk about first. So this book, it is basically one of those books where when you looked at the Bookcon insert that it had like this cover showing, which I don't know if you can see that, but as you can see, there's like this realistic looking person on the cover. I'm not a fan of that. I really dislike books with cover art where it looks like a realistic looking person, either a photograph or a digital rendering. I don't care. I like my people on book covers to look cartoony. I like to look at it and see that an artist was involved. This story involves a exiled charmer who has sold off their magical beast, which is illegal in this land. And because of this, there's now a price on her head. This price attracts the most renowned assassin of this time, who then goes after our main character. I'm gonna guess there's some type of chemistry between these characters because this is labeled as fantasy romance. Just putting that out there. But in order to save her own life, this character, the main character, Lena, decides to make a deal with the assassin. This assassin agrees because they've got their own baggage that they've got to deal with and stuff that they're going through. That's why they agreed to take this deal. But then there is the possibility that the things that he's dealing with could mean that eventually the assassin has to choose between saving his own life or saving Lena's. Yeah, like there's that fantastical element, there's a romantic element, there's magic involved. Yeah, this is gonna be so good. I'm really excited for this. So the second book that I got from Source Books at the very same drop is Wicked as You Wish. So this book is a fairy tale retelling. It is the start of a series. When I read the first page, because I was trying to find out like what exact fairy tale it's retelling, because I couldn't tell from the synopsis, it seemed to involve The Princess and the Frog, which I have yet to see any type of retellings about, so that really intrigued me. And the other thing I think intrigues me even more is that this first book doesn't come out till March 3rd, 2020, which is 9 months away for the first book. God only knows how long I'd have to wait for the second book. Just that first page that I read was just, it pulls you right in, and I'm like, oh God, this is killing me inside. But I also know I'm pretty sure I would die. If like it's like a crazy cliffhanger ending and then I'd have to wait like 3 years for the next one. I don't know. I'm gonna guess the next one would come out in 2021. But it's 2019, people. It's still 2 years away. That is so long. So yeah, we're gonna wait. We're gonna read this next March, or end of February, so right around the release date. But I'm dying inside because this sounds so interesting and I can't wait to read it. Like, it's gonna be so much fun. The next book that I got as an arc is called That Night. One of the things I didn't like, but the blurb said it's like a PG-13 version of Gone Girl. Who would want to read that? Honestly, like, I love Gone Girl. I don't want to read the watered down version of Gone Girl. So that wasn't what appealed to me about this book. This book doesn't sound anything like Gone Girl, to be perfectly frank. Basically, it deals with this girl. She had a boyfriend that she adored. It is 1 year since he committed suicide. Heavy topic right out of the gate. She doesn't believe that it was suicide. She thinks that there was something else involved, and she might have proof that something else was involved. It's actually told in alternating timeline, so I believe it starts like a couple years before, and then it goes to present day. And present day is like a year after the suicide. What's going to happen is that these two timelines will then converge into the night of the suicide, and we're going to find out what actually happened that night. So how that's supposed to sound like Gone Girl, I have no idea. Maybe Kirkus Reviews was talking about the suspense factor, which then I'm down for it, but please don't ever describe a book as a PG-13 version of something epic. Like, that's awful. The synopsis did this one justice. It's still something I really, really want to read, and I think it's something that I'm going to really enjoy reading, and I'm probably going to try to get to this one next month. And then we have yet another book with the thing I hate, which is realistic looking human beings right on the freaking cover. This is War Girls by, I can't pronounce this properly, so please bear with me. Tochi Onyebuchi. I'll look that up later. Promise, when I do the wrap up, I'll try to find that. The back doesn't do it any justice either, so I'm just going to give you my quick takes of what made me think that this book is going to be interesting, and I'm putting it down now because I hate that cover. So War Girls is a futuristic sci-fi dystopian story set in Nigeria, which is super war torn. The earth itself has been ravaged by climate change. They have soldiers that have bionic limbs and special types of mechanisms built into their body to help them survive and help them to keep fighting. And our main character is one of these soldiers, and it's this girl, and the other main character in the story is her sister, and they're just trying to survive and get through this war. That's basically the gist of what I got from both reading the back and also reading the very first page. And the last arc that I have is The Deserter by Nelson DeMille and Alex DeMille, and it involves a eccentric army investigator and his troubled female partner. There is romance and intrigue and action and adventure. This is actually a book we got just walking by a booth. Apparently this is a box that was delivered late that was meant to be given away at Book Expo but never was. I think this could be something that's really interesting, but I'm also like kind of nervous because this is definitely just out of the range that I've been reading in, and I've definitely never read like a military style book. I don't know. I'm going to try to read this one soon, though, just because I know someone I can give this book away to if I don't like it. I might love it. I might absolutely adore it, but I'm nervous. I don't know. This is so out of like the range of things I look for. I've never sat there like, wonder what's new in military fiction. I don't know, but I hope the mystery angle and the drama of the story is gonna keep me in there. So we'll see. And now we have Beasts Made of Night. This is another book by Tochi Onyebuchi, who also wrote War Girls. See how gorgeous this cover is? This is a cool looking one. I like the art there. This is another Nigerian fantasy, or Nigerian inspired fantasy is probably the better term. Basically, this main character is a corrupt mage who can extract sin and create sin beasts out of them. Our main character, basically does it for the money, even though the creation of these sin beasts tends to drive most of the mages mad. He just does it because he needs to support his family, so he keeps doing it anyway, even knowing what the consequences could be. One of his extractions leads him to discover a political mystery. There is someone in the palace plotting to destroy their city. So there is some political intrigue, there's some mystery, and there's magic, and this is such a unique idea, and I think it's just so fascinating. This is just going to be one of those stories that's going to probably stick with me for a long time to come, make me think of a lot of other things in the meantime, and I cannot wait to read it. Here we have two books by Zoraida Cordova. So I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to do more of a quick takes and a full summary, but basically we have the main character, Alex. She's a bruja, which means that she has magic, and she is the most powerful witch in a generation, but she hates her magic. She doesn't want it. She casts a spell to get rid of it. When she casts that spell, instead of getting rid of her magic, she somehow gets rid of her entire family. They're just gone. They're disappeared, doesn't know where they are, or doesn't know what happened to them, and the only person that can help her is another bruja that she doesn't trust. This sounds amazing. It's also inspired by Latin American culture, so that's incredible to me. I literally have nothing else that sounds even remotely like this, so I literally cannot wait to read this. And then we have Bruja Born, which is the second book in the series, and from what I can tell, what I'm guessing is that the main character is sisters, like I mentioned, with the main character of everything's upside down. The main character of this one, is this upside down? Shoot. Sorry. With the main character of this book. The thing with this book is it deals with one of the sisters who basically has the power to heal. And she also has this boyfriend that she's super crazy about. Then there's a bus crash, and that boyfriend, as well as many others, die. Gets real dark real fast. And then what ends up happening is after this boyfriend dies, the main character decides to do some type of magic that not only brings him back, which was her goal, but also ends up bringing back others, which was not her goal. So definitely going to be some type of messy situations here. You know, when there's people coming back from the dead, it ain't gonna be pretty, but it's gonna be really fun. This might be another series that's gonna be on next month's list, so I cannot wait to do that. Now we've gone through the arcs, we've gone through all the fantasy books that I've received, so now we're going into some of my thrillers. So the first one is The Assassin Game. The Assassin Game basically involves an elite boarding school and a secret society called the Assassin's Club. That basically, this club, the members play like pranks, where if you are subject to a prank or you fall for one or something, it doesn't really specify how exactly this happens, but you get killed. So no one's actually supposed to die, but then the game turns real. The story itself is told from the perspective of an outsider who has just been invited to join, and she really wants to be in this club. And because now the game has turned real, the school might be shutting down the club, and she doesn't want that to happen. So she's trying to catch the assassin before they strike again or possibly go after her. So this sounds incredible. This isn't a brand new book. It's definitely backlist, but it sounds fascinating. And one of my few exceptions to the rule about real people on the covers, because their face is not being seen. Here we have Little Lovely Things by Maureen Joyce Connolly. This book involves a mom. She goes for a drive with her kids in the back seat, and during that drive she ends up getting really sick. So she pulls into a gas station. She runs to the bathroom, leaving the kids in the car. She passes out, literally, in a gas station bathroom. When she wakes up, and this is where things get really interesting, she goes back to her car. The kids are gone. The car is gone. The police have no leads. This is a domestic thriller. It involves the relationship between the mom and the husband. Now that these kids are missing, she feels intense guilt because she left her kids in the car by themselves and she got sick out of nowhere. And I don't know. I just feel like there's also going to be like something about that sickness being a clue about something else. I don't know yet. I'm just making up stuff, but it's gonna be good. I have very, very high expectations of this one. I think it's gonna be fantastic. Here we have my last thriller that I got. This one's called A Danger to Herself and Others. This is a YA thriller, and this actually involves our main character, who is a rising senior. I think her name is Hannah. I don't feel like looking, but she's a rising senior, and she has been checked into a psychiatric hospital. Something that she did has caused her roommate to end up in the hospital. There has been a judge that has gotten involved in the situation, doctors who've gotten involved in the situation, and they have deemed her a danger to herself and others. And now she's getting someone new at psychiatric hospital who she's kind of deeming her own project, and secrets are going to get revealed. And it sounds like a really, really interesting YA thriller, possibly a little more dark than normal. I'm really wondering how they'll show the mental health aspect and how they'll treat that. So this could be really great, or it could possibly be a total miss. So we'll see. I'll let you know what I think about this one too. And now we have my next category, which is actually middle grade. So I ended up getting 4 middle grade books, one of which is a gift from my nephew. I figured it would be a really good book to read to him, which is Spy School by Stuart Gibbs. This actually came out a couple years ago, start of a series. It basically involves this kid who has been enrolled in this science school. It's actually not a science school at all. It's actually a school that trains junior CIA operatives. Part of his objectives is to survive this school, basically not die, to get the girl, and then also find the double agent that's in the school and be less of a geek. I don't know, it just seemed like a really, really cute story. And I love that on the back, it actually says where the summary is. It's written written on notebook paper. I don't know if you guys can see that. And at the bottom, it says, destroy this note once you've memorized it, which I think is freaking precious. I love little touches like that, especially for something about spies and for kids. I just think that's such a smart little thing you could do to just make something just seem so much more interesting and so much more just great for a kid. So really excited for him to read this, or for me to read this to him, either or. Next, we have 2 more middle grade books before we get to the last one. So this one is the Fairy Tale Reform School series. So it basically involves a main character who gets sent to the Fairy Tale Reform School, which is basically this magical reform school taught by fairy tale villains. So the Big Bad Wolf as examples, or I think Cinderella's stepmother is here or something. So this should be really, really cute and interesting. And then this one is Royal Academy Rebels, which is set at a completely different school, but in the same world where these fairy tale villains do exist, and involves the main character basically investigating the fairy godmother who is supposed to be teaching them how to be proper princes and princesses, but is more concerned with villains. I just thought both these books just looked so precious, so light, so fun. You know, there's nothing dark about it. It's just precious and makes you smile when you read it. So that's why I got these two. And the last middle grade book that I have is Shadow Weaver. This book involves a main character who actually has the magical ability to control shadows, including her own. And her shadow is actually a character in this book named Dar. Because of some magic that's happening, I believe the main character is on the run. She, of course, has Dar with her, and the thing that made her become on the run is also the reason why she might not trust Dar anymore, which, as the book describes, is pretty hard to not trust something that's attached to your heels. So this just looks like, again, really fun, but also has that dark, twisty aspect, which could be really interesting, while also being interesting and magical, and should be a really great read. Okay, so I have another book that might be middle grade, might not be. I am not entirely positive. I'm pretty sure this isn't middle grade, but I'm also pretty sure it might be. So you can see my dilemma. But anyway, this is a graphic novel called Illegal. Basically, it explores the situation of immigrants trying to escape where they're from, or the situations of where they're from, and what they have to do that. I got this book mainly because, one, I'm trying to read more graphic novels. The other reason I like this book is because it deals with such a heavy topic. The artwork is honestly gorgeous. So to kind of give you an example, like look at how gorgeous this is. Look how pretty this artwork is. Like, this is absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to get to it, and I think it's just gonna be a really interesting read. And the next three books are books I'm not gonna go into heavy deep summaries for, because you should already know, to be perfectly frank. And there are three classics that I got from Bookcon. So one was Jane Eyre, and this one is a Jane Austen, and it actually includes 4 of her novels. So it includes Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, Emma, and Northanger Abbey. So I cannot wait to get started on this, just because, one, I don't own Jane Austen physical books at all. Like, I have some digital copies, but I've been wanting like a really nice hardcover copy, and this is absolutely stunning, and I cannot wait to get started on this. It's like hurting my wrist, it's so big. And then finally, one of my favorite editions of a classic that I've ever seen, this edition of Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. If you open it up, it's illustrated, and like some of the pages are just like really beautiful art right there on the pages, and it's just so absolutely stunning. I was so excited to get this because I actually bought a copy of Alice in Wonderland. The edition that I got was not the one I was expecting to get, and I was super disappointed, and I was so excited to read this one because it's absolutely stunning. I can't wait to read this. And the last book that I have, I have been looking at this book on Book of the Month for a long time. It's definitely out of my comfort zone, but it also sounds incredibly fascinating, and I trust the author. So she's one I actually mentioned before. And it's Jessica Brody, who wrote Save the Cat, writes a novel. I've been wanting to read one of her works. So I'm going to start with this one, which is Sky Without Stars. Basically, this has been described as Les Mis in space. Do we need anything else to tell us that this book could be freaking incredible? Like, I haven't read Les Mis. When I think of Les Mis, though, I think of epic. I think of nuance and layers and huge story that just somehow managed to go on for hours on end and yet still keep people fascinated. And I also think of Hugh Jackman, so there's that as well. I could be off. Is it someone else? That would be so awkward. I'll look that up. But this just sounds really interesting, and I just love the idea of taking a classic and just throwing a whole different spin on it. I'm a huge fan of retellings, so this is definitely one that caught my eye and just made me very interested. And again, this is Sky Without Stars. This should be so much fun. I can't wait. Like, I'm so excited to read that. But yeah, holy crap, that's all of them. That's all my books. I have now officially shared every single book that I got at Bookcon, minus one, you guys. There's one book that I have not revealed, and I'm not gonna reveal it because it's gonna be revealed later, because I'm gonna be holding a giveaway for this book. I actually already own this book that I ended up getting at Bookcon, and I decided I wanted to give it away to one of you guys. So you will find out more about the giveaway fairly soon. I plan on posting it either this month or early next month. So as soon as it is time to post it, I will let you know more. And I hope that some of these books really intrigued you that you got to see today, that some of these arcs really intrigued you. I hope that you learned, same as me, that, you know, maybe judging a book by its cover is as dumb as people think it is. We'll see. I'll read the books and let you know. We might prove me right. I hope not. I hope all of them are great. I hope everything is like freaking amazing, and I'm just gonna like die of happiness. Not physically die, but maybe like mentally die. Have like the biggest book hangover for like a week. after. I'm done yapping. Thank you for joining me today. I am so glad I got to share my books from Bookcon with you and share with you a little bit about my experience at Bookcon, which was such a blast, such an amazing experience to get to have, and I cannot wait to go again next year. If you've read something that I've shown you, like, please let me know what you thought of it, and if you're interested in any of the arcs, let me know. If you want to buddy read it with me, I'm totally down for that. I guess the last thing is, if you liked what you saw, if you liked this channel, if you liked how I talked about the books, or just like the content that you're seeing, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to get notified when I post. Get in on this time for reading train, you guys. It's fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you make lots of time for reading. Thanks, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.